All right. Good morning, everybody, once again. Those of you who are just joining us, welcome. Mario says it is a hot day in Malta, which is much nicer than where I'm at, sitting in the UK, where it is cloudy and gray. But hopefully you guys are having some great weather, better than the Brits are having. Welcome once again. This is our final session in this series of what I fondly refer to as Europe University. Our EMEA webinar series for 2025 for the late spring, early summer realm of time. We are going to be talking about something that for me is a lot of fun today. We're calling it secret sales techniques. Now, hopefully not very much of this is secret to you guys if you've been selling for a while. That being said, I also hope that there's a few things that either jog your memory and you're like, oh, right, I should be doing that, or that are new to you. That would be amazing. So Marissa just said, thank God for holidays and cruises so we can get refreshed. And amen to that. Getting out for holiday is one of the best parts of living in a place like this where it's always gray and cloudy, which is how home was for me too. So if you don't know me, my name is Christy. I am the training manager for the EMEA region. Hopefully you've been with us for all of the sessions, but if you are just watching this back on YouTube, or if this is your first time joining us, then welcome. I am your training manager, so I am here to help you. Of course, you guys know you have a lot of resources as well. So Alex is a common face that you see around the European region, as well as people like Max and Babs and Alberto and all sorts of different people. So there are a lot of different resources out there for you. That's just a few of them. That is not the whole list. You may have different people in your country, in your region, which is great. We have an absolutely amazing team here to support you guys in what you're doing for Royal Caribbean. So we want to make sure you have all the best tools and tips and tricks and secrets along the way to make sure that you are the expert at Royal Caribbean, that you feel comfortable and confident in what you're talking about. So you can always feel free to reach out to us if you ever have any questions or any things you need clarified. I would much rather that you ask the question without making a guess or giving incorrect information. One of my favorite phrases is, that's a great question. Let me confirm that I've got the right information and get back to you. So that's always a good thing to say. That's always something that's helpful. Let's go ahead and jump into our sales techniques, secret sales techniques today. Start talking about some stuff. So some of this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but it's going to come with a different twist because it's coming from me. So I want to remind you guys what Royal Caribbean's mission is, which is to inspire adventure. I love that. Those two simple words put together in this way invoke so much feeling, right? They give so much information, so much idea. So much context really for two simple little words, right? Inspire adventure, which is how I love to live my life. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the insights or the color personality test. I am very much a yellow, right? Which, if you know what that means, you know who I am and what I bring to the table. But basically, yellow, there's 4 colors: yellow and red and blue and green. Yellow is very much about sunshine and excitement and fun, right? So this mission really speaks to me, right? Inspire adventure. We say we believe that life is best lived when filled with as much adventure as possible. Oh man, this is me 100%. So we inspire adventures that expand your horizons, bring you to life, and connect you to people, which is really truly such a description of who I am, which is why this company for me resonates so strongly. So let's talk about our guests just a tiny bit. Some of the key attributes that you're going to find in a Royal Caribbean customer or a Royal Caribbean guest once they're on board, because they're your customers or clients, but they're our guests, right? Once they board that ship, we get to host them. We are their hosts and they are our guests. One of the first things that you're going to find in these people is that they love travel, right? They're more likely to seek adventure and new experiences when traveling on vacation. It's an ideal feelings for these customers are going to include being on vacation or holiday feeling excited, relaxed, rejuvenated, and inspired, which is exactly how we want it to be, right? They're also going to be curious. So experiences make up their identity long after the quick hit of the humble brag goes away. They're motivated by new destinations, 100% bucket list traveler here, right? Excellent foods and learning about culture and personal growth. Again, I am the perfect Royal Caribbean guest, right? And then they influence. So they're first to try new things and often influence their friends and family. I was that person, right? I tell people I've been with Royal Caribbean since 2007 and they've been paying me since 2019 because I went on my first cruise and I was the person who came back and I was like, have you been on a cruise yet? Have you been on a cruise yet? You need to go on a cruise. And do you know how many of my friends and family have now traveled on a cruise or are considering a cruise? Because of me talking to them about it, because of me being excited about it. One customer who is excited and influential in their circle of friends and family will bring a lot more customers for you, especially if you take care of them at that highest level. About 50% of these guests are going to have kids and they want to provide their family with adventurous experiences. My friend is a classic example of this. She's got 3 kiddos. They have been living in Berlin for the last 3 years. They're getting ready to move, which is really, really sad for me because she's my bestie. But she has these 3 kids and they have traveled all around Europe for the last 3 years, exploring, adventuring, and seeing new things, right? I love what happened. They went to the Colosseum a year or so ago, and she's got 2 boys who were at the time like 6 and 7. You know what their opinion of the Colosseum was? They were really disappointed because there were no more lions or bears. They really wanted to see some of the adventures, the action in the Colosseum. But having that level of sharing, right? Sharing with our families, sharing with our friends, really truly is something that you're going to find in our customers. So our brand, who are we at the base? So some of our attributes that we bring to the table are that we're best in class ships. We really have absolutely amazing ships. We've got warm and attentive service. In my opinion, it's service that you would expect to find on a luxury or ultra luxury cruise. We've got over 270 different destinations around the world that we travel to. We've got our Perfect Day Island collection. And we're all about quality and innovation at every turn. We are always bettering ourselves. We are always one-upping ourselves. I've said recently quite a few times that we don't have other competition out there, right? The other brands are not our competition. We are our own competition. We are always competing against ourselves to be better than we were before, which is a great way to live, in my opinion, right? People have told me I'm competitive. I'm like, well, that's because you haven't met my sisters. But I realize I actually am competitive, but I'm competing against who I've been in the past, and I want to get better. And Royal Caribbean is just like that. Our functional benefit is that we're adventurous vacations combined with remarkable quality and attention to detail. Our emotional benefit, because remember, people are emotional shoppers. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. We provide unforgettable experiences that you can't wait to share. The photos that people share on social media with their friends and their family or afterwards when they get home are very much about the emotions that they're experiencing, right? The things that they've seen, the experiences that they've had, and how that makes them feel overall. Some of our consumer passion points are things like travel, food, music, and tech, with a strong emphasis on experiencing the new within all of that. Our consumers are seekers. So no matter their age, they seek new adventures and relish the chance to discover the world. Our personality is that we're bold, we're optimistic, we're welcoming, we're energetic, and we're imaginative. And finally, our brand purpose is to inspire adventure and deliver the unexpected. So this is who we are as a brand. This is what we bring to the table. This is what we're looking at. Now, I don't have a lot of time, but we're going to spend some quality time here on this next part. So I want to talk to you guys about how to be a salesperson, right? How do you make sure that you are bringing the best to the table? When I say order taker, or when I put this up, what does an order taker convey to you? I'm going to ask you guys to drop some stuff in the chat this morning for this particular session. So what does an order taker look like to you? When you go into a restaurant, when you go into a store, a retail store, what does an order taker do? Drop some of those things in the chat, some keywords, some phrases. Tell me what you think an order taker is. I have some ideas that I'll share with you, don't worry, of what I think an order taker is. But I'm waiting to see what some of you guys are saying. I know there's a bunch of you in here today, so I'm expecting to see some stuff start popping into that chat any moment here. All right, I'll get you started with a couple of things. I think of going to McDonald's, right? You've been to McDonald's recently or other restaurants, understanding the order of the customer. I'm thinking of McDonald's where you've got that kiosk that you go up to and you tap the buttons, right? It's very simple. You pick the meal that you want, you pick the food that you want, you pick if you want sides or different things like that, right? There's no interaction. Do you want to add do you want to add fries to that? Do you want to add this chicken nuggets to that at the end or something like that, right? It's very simple transactional experience. Someone who takes down their orders, yeah, it's just simply taking the information and walking away, right? Marissa says, someone who faces the clients and listens to their requests, gives advice, reconfirms the order, and sends the order in. Lolly says, advisor at the time. Jackie says, it's transactional between the customer and the order taker, no emotion. Jackie, you are spot on. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's basically just that simple transaction, right? Have any of you guys been online lately and you've been to a website and you're trying to get information and they're like, oh, talk to us. And it's a chat bot and there's no actual interaction happening. It's just pre-programmed responses based on the vocabulary that you drop in there. It's just simply, here's the question. And they say, oh, we got these list of answers that might pertain to this. Because there's no actual understanding, there's no actual knowledge. It's just simply taking the information and putting in a pre-programmed response, taking the information and putting in a pre-programmed response. We don't want to be order takers. We are sales agents. What is a sales agent? Marissa, I'm going to read your comment again. Someone who faces the clients and listens to their requests, gives advice, reconfirms the order, and sends the order in. An sales agent is someone who is paying attention. Feel free to drop more stuff in the chat if you have other insights on that sales agent. A sales agent is not a chatbot. There's emotion, there's excitement, there's passion, right? You've got that interaction where you're listening to understand, right? Active listening. You're asking questions that will help understand what they're actually looking for. Some questions that I used to love asking on the phone was, why did you select this date? Right? Why would I ask that question? I would ask that question because it helps me understand if I have any wiggle room in dates. We're going with the family. We're going for a birthday. We're going because of this, or right? We have a set reason. Well, we really just like the itinerary, or the ship looks really good, or we have holiday time during that week, right? If you're going with another group, with a bigger group, you have very limited options. It's that ship and that sail date, right? Unless they're the first person booking, and then there's a little bit of wiggle room, but a lot of times they already come having decided. However, if they picked it because it's their birthday week, you have more options available. You have to stay within that week, but maybe you can look at other sailings, other options, other opportunities. So by asking that question, why did you pick this date? Who was going on this amazing holiday experience with you, or this amazing vacation with you? What drew you to this ship and sailing? Gosh, what else? There's so many different questions that you can ask that will help understand. What do you enjoy doing on holiday, right? If they enjoy exploring and seeing new places, getting them on a unique itinerary that they haven't done before is a great option. However, if they just want to have beach time, that's a different itinerary than if they want to go see brand new places, right? So there's a lot of different considerations when you're being a sales agent in asking questions that will asking leading questions or open-ended questions that will allow them to answer, not just with a simple yes or no. Oh, so that's the 3rd of June? Yes or no? Okay, So why did you pick this date? Well, because we have XYZ. Do you see the difference there? Are you guys catching the nuances of the differences in how the questions are asked? An order taker says, so that's the 3rd of June that you need to go. A sales agent says, why did you select this date? And then you listen for understanding the answer, because it gives you a lot more context and a lot more ability to look at choices. You can also say, is this ship and sale date the one that you're doing, or do you want other suggestions? Right? You can ask that sort of question. If they say, yeah, we're open to other ideas, maybe you've got something else that you know about, that's something you can do, right? As a sales agent, you can do that. As an order taker, it's if they say, oh, we're open to other options, you're like, I don't know what to do, right? Because you're an order taker, a chatbot. You're not prepared for providing options. As a sales agent, you're prepared for providing options. I hope this is making sense so far. I hope this is sounding good. So let's talk a little bit about why people say no thanks. Nah, not right now. I'm going to ask you guys to drop in the chat what your opinion is. Why do you think people say no when you say, should we get this booked? Why do you think your customers are saying no, thank you, or no, or not today, or whatever verbiage they're using? Why do they say no to you? Drop your ideas in the chat. Why do people say no when they're saying no to you for booking a cruise? Because I hear it all the time, right? I was that person too. I was on the phones. I spent my first couple years at Royal talking to guests directly and helping them decide what to book and when to book and how to book and what staterooms to be in and all of the different details. Why do people say no? Just a word or two. Drop something in the chat for me. I've got lots of information on this. I got lots of ideas on this, but I want to hear from you guys first. The cost may be above their budget. All right. Very valid. That's a legitimate answer that I hear regularly for this, right? The cost may be above their budget. They're not prepared for it. They had no idea. It's too expensive, difficult to make the decision instantly. Okay. What else? What other reasons do people say no? All right. Well, here's one of my responses. Everyone probably has one of these little devices, right? Vacation dates don't match with the sailing dates. Everyone has one of these little devices in their pockets or in their hands or on their desk or something, right? A cell phone with what? Internet access. Competition, mostly from other cruise quotes they got from other agencies. All right. So here's the thing. 90 some percentage of the time that a customer comes to you, they have already done some shopping. They've already looked around. They've already got information. They're not surprised by the price most of the time. Now, when you add in things like flights or hotels or pre and post stays, different things like that, that'll vary. But the price of the room itself, they can look online very easily, right? And like Marissa said, competition from other cruise lines, right? Sure, absolutely. That's a real thing. But here's the reason that they're coming to you. They want you to be the expert, and we haven't answered their questions is one of the reasons that people say no. We haven't actually taken care of answering the things that they want. I'm one of those people who, when I'm making a bigger purchase, I still like to have confirmation. If I'm putting a lot of money down on something, whether it's a vehicle or a holiday or a place to live or whatever the case may be, I don't want to make that choice by myself because it's a lot of money. It's a big commitment, right? I want someone who can answer my questions and make me feel comfortable and confident in their knowledge. Which leads to, we haven't inspired their confidence, right? We have to make the customer confident that we know what we're talking about, that we are comfortable with what we're talking about. Again, I mentioned it at the beginning. That's a great question. Let me make sure I have the right answer to share with you before I give you information on that. Can I get back to you in 24 hours on this? Can I get back to you later today? Then make sure that you get back to them within the time that you've stated, right? Don't leave them hanging forever, but letting them know that you don't have all of the information, but you know how to get it is amazing, right? I feel more confident with someone who isn't just making things up. Now, some people are really confident and sounding like they know what they're talking about when they're making things up, but I'd rather know that you have the right information to start with. Don't go feeding me lies, especially if it's something I can research online too, right? Which is pretty much everything now. If I find that you are sharing incorrect information with me, my confidence in you goes down significantly. A question that I get asked sometimes, do people live on Perfect Day at Coco Cay? Actually, yes. Yes, they do. We have crew, we have staff that live there year round. We've always got people there. They'll live there for their duration of their contract, just like our employees on board the ship. But we actually have staff quarters on Perfect Day at Coco Cay. No, we do not bring everyone in that day from the ship and have them work the island. Some of them will go on and work the island. So your favorite bartender might be in the Captain Jack's or something like that for the day. But we also have crew that are there that are manning the island all the time, right? So if we're making up that answer, saying, oh, no, we bring everything in, we can sound as confident as we want to, but that means that if they go and research that and find the correct information, you're gonna lose confidence points with them. Finally, sometimes people say no because we haven't met their needs. So the vacation dates aren't matching with the sailing dates or something like that. Now, with 30 ships on sale, there's a lot of opportunities. That being said, a lot of our sailings leave on like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of off the table, right? We don't have a lot going out on those days, but we have options most of the week where we've got sailings going out. Just a question of lining up with the best options. And sometimes it's true, we can't get the perfect fit for them. So asking them if they have any flexibility in their dates, asking them why they chose the ship and sail date that they came in and talked to you about initially allows you to know if you have wiggle room and that sort of thing, right? Sometimes they come in because they're asking you to find them something that just isn't there. And that's a little bit of a trickier one, but asking what kind of negotiation, what kind of wiggle room they have within that context of what they've told you will help you to find the best solution for them. So make sure that you're answering their questions and answering them well so that they have confidence in you. If they come in and you are not confident, if you are not projecting yourself as a confident, comfortable, and capable person, then they are going to be like, oh, I don't know. No, I've got another quote. Oh, that date doesn't work. I can't just make this decision right now. How many people do you think are really walking in off the street and haven't thought about their holiday yet? How many people do you think are coming in and being like, oh, well, we just want to go on a holiday. We're thinking maybe June of 2026. We don't know. We haven't really looked at anything yet. Yes, you'll get a few of those, but that is not the majority of them. That's 1 or 2 out of 100, right? Maybe not even that high. maybe not even that many of them. Most people have already been thinking about it, have already been talking about options, have already looked at different choices. They're giving you an excuse, and you need to understand how to overcome that, right? So what I'm going to encourage you guys, be the expert. Here's the things that you need to know. Here's the things that you need to do. I want you to make sure that you understand the needs and the wants of the customer. How do we do that? We do that by asking what I call qualifying questions, questions that give you qualifications or information about what they're looking for. So asking them questions that are open-ended and allow them to give you information and then listening to their answers, right? Take as many notes as you need to, but make sure you're listening to understand, right? That's going to give you an edge over everyone else because you're listening to understand what they want and not just taking their order. You want a Big Mac with cheese and fries and a Diet Coke? Done. Oh, you're looking at the Big Mac. That's an amazing option. Now, do you enjoy all of the things on that? Do you have any questions about it? Oh, you don't really like lettuce. Have you considered a quarter pounder? Did you want to do a medium fry, or were you looking for something a little bit bigger like the large fry? Did you want to do the Diet Coke, or did you want to do the Diet Fanta? Like what kind of choices did you want here, right? Asking questions to understand and not just saying, done, 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 click, 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 checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. This is not a checkbox industry, right? There's so many choices. You have to understand what they're actually looking for and why. Then it's about finding the right fit. So this does mean that you need to have some understanding, some comfort, some knowledge of the choices that are out there for you, right? You need to be familiar with the product. I would never go into car sales ever. I just bought myself a car about a month and a half ago, and I was walking up and down the aisles of the lot. Like, ooh, that's a nice car. Ooh, that's a nice, oh, that looks really nice. You know what I was looking at, you guys? The color. Was it red? Was it blue? There was a green color that was pretty funky. I was like, yeah, I'm not on board with that. I didn't even notice the blacks and the grays and the whites and the silvers. They just kind of like, I passed by them. I am not a car person. I bought my car based on color and the fact there was a sunroof. It had low mileage. It was a good option. I liked it. It was pretty. I'm not selling cars. You need to understand the product. If you're in this industry, it hopefully means that you have some sort of interest in travel. So study, learn, understand so that you can find the right fit for your customer. Finally, and we're going to spend just a couple minutes on this one, paint the picture. I want you guys to take this photo, let's say the one on the left, the understand, right? What sort of words would you use to describe this scene or this day to your customer? Drop just 2 or 3 words in the chat for me. I'm asking everyone to join in for just a couple of minutes here. We only got a few minutes left, so drop something in quick for me. Find your chat button and go in and drop a couple words. What vocabulary would you use to describe this first picture? Drop some words in the chat. Now, there's a couple people who will do it. Relaxing, unwinding, and the best way to reset yourself. Those words bring emotions, right? Relaxing and unwinding. Oh, that's perfect. Yes. Fun and relaxing, relaxed, enjoying. Absolutely. Bright, bold, colorful. You've got the gorgeous blue sunny sky. You've got the amazing crystal clear water. You've got your ice cold drink in your hand, and you're standing in the Caribbean water, absolutely loving life, right? There's a floating bar behind you. You've got all sorts of different activities that you can do, but you are just spending time in the fresh Caribbean water, enjoying your day with that ice cold drink in your hand. Look for words that are descriptive. We want to paint the picture. I watched a really great reel the other day, yesterday, because I'm old and I do reels instead of TikToks, right? Like all adults should, 2 weeks after they came out. It was a teacher who was teaching her class, her year 2 or year 3 students, about using descriptive words. And she was asking them to write down how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now that's very American, I understand. Peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and jam. And she was doing it based on their words. So she says, okay, so you take the bread, and she brings a loaf of bread over, and you put jelly on it, and she puts her hand into the jar of jelly and spreads it on top of the package of bread. And then the words say, now flip it over. So she turns it upside down and put the peanut butter on the other side. So she puts her hand in the jar of peanut butter and spreads it on the other side. No one said use a knife. No one said take a slice of bread out. No one said use a plate. No one used the descriptive words to explain how to do this. Then there was another kid. She's like, let's move on to another one. Okay, so you take the bread and you put it flat. And so she takes that same loaf of bread and she just squishes it flat, like the whole loaf, right? She just pushes on it. She's like, now it's flat. And then you do this, and then you do this. And one time it said, just spread peanut butter and spread jelly. So she takes it and she's like, it's in my hand. So she spreads it on her arms, and the kids are just going wild. They're going ballistic. They're like, oh, no, you're doing it wrong. So then she goes through this idea of how do you do this with descriptive words, right? Open the loaf of bread, take out a slice of bread and put it on your plate, put it flat on your plate. Take a knife, put it in the jar of jelly, put some jelly on the knife and spread it on the bread. Take a second slice of bread, use your knife and spread peanut butter on the bread. Now you put the peanut butter and the jelly facing each other so that they're together, right? So learning to use those descriptive words. If you don't use descriptive words, you're not getting the full picture, right? Learn to paint the picture. Learn how to describe what they can experience, because people shop based on emotion. I don't care if you're buying a pen, a car, or a house. I bought my car based on how it made me feel. It's red, it has a sunroof, it's pretty, it's fun, it has low miles. Yeah, that's how I justified it, right? Like, that's the logical side of it. But I wasn't looking at the black cars with low miles. I was looking at the pretty red cars that made me happy, that I can find in the car park. And I'm not frustrated on a regular basis because I'm like, which black car is mine? Beeping my beeper, right? We shop based on emotion. I buy nice pens. I hate cheap pens, right? When you get a cheap pen, it leaks all over the place. It's not comfortable. When you buy a good pen, it writes smoothly, it gives quality, it's not leaking. It feels nice, right? We buy based on emotion. So build the emotional connection for your customers. All right. So these are my tips. This is a very quick version of tips and secret sales techniques. I can't wait to see you guys for our next series when we bring it up again. Don't forget that all of our webinars are recorded. You can follow us. I think Alex is going to drop the link to this in the chat. Thanks for sticking with me today while we went just a couple of minutes over here. We'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think of this series? What did you think of this session? If you would fill this out, we would absolutely love to hear that as well. We do take your feedback and we learn from it and we go from it. So there's our YouTube link, and Alex will drop the link to the survey in the chat as well. For right now, I do want to say thank you guys, for joining us. It's been a pleasure being with you for the last couple of weeks, and I can't wait till the next time. Thanks so much. Feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next time, you guys. Have a good one.